Congratulations on this. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
What I love so much about this movie is it's so real, so relatable. We all know a Robyn, a Simon, and a Gordo. Was that something that kind of related to you when you read it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I'd undertake anything unless all the characters are relatable on some level. I think that you kind of have to look for that. But I think it's a sort of everyman tale. They're all every people, and then, you know, I think the film leads you to make judgment calls about all of them and then have all of those opinions, including ones about Robyn, subverted. Yeah. You know, that the sort of, you look at Robyn first off and she looks like this sort of perfect homemaker wife, and then you realize actually she's sort of in a borderline abusive relationship and is repressed and doesn't really know who she is, and it takes a huge dramatic event like the narrative of the film to make her wake up and realize her own strength on some level.
Exactly. And then this, like I said, the script is so wonderful. To have Joel, who wrote this, directed it, stars in it. I mean, a man of so many talents. What was it like to have him there right by your side and have that vulnerability from him?
He's great. He didn't let on that he was vulnerable for 1 second about anything. I mean, the man never broke a sweat, ever, the whole time. It was the most amiable, jolly set that I've been on in ages. It really was. And I'm really a strong champion of actors becoming directors. It doesn't always work, but I think one thing is for sure is that we see the mechanisms of how you make a film very, very closely, and if we're at all interested in the art of how it's made, then we get sort of first access to seeing everything. And also because actors are such a key role in the whole process, we also understand what it takes to get the best out of them. So there's a kind of, he knows that relaxation is actually number one, and that sort of made everything easier.
Well, and then you have Jason Bateman, who's playing your husband. Now, we all know Jason for his comedic talents, but whoa, like halfway through the film, I was like, I don't think Gordo's such a creep. He's the creep. Yeah. Well, that's the thing of the film, I think. I mean, that's what I find fascinating about it, is you can't take anything at face value. No, you absolutely can't. But I'm sure also having somebody like Jason on board, he'd have to have been there as a tension reliever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But everyone was. There was a very sort of, there was good banter on this one. It was good banter.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He's a very funny man.
Yeah, and then you shot in this beautiful home.
Yes, with the fishbowl.
I mean, look at this place. It's insane.
I know, it's great. Well, you walk in and it immediately creates its own noir atmosphere, whether you like it or not. I think the glass and the reflection and the light, it's LA noir in its most beautiful kind of way. A nightmare for the DOP. Reflections and light, and a nightmare for us because it gets really hot in here. Yeah. But it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it did. It was a character in itself in the film. This brings up so much discussion. That's one thing I did love about this movie, is you really talk about it for days. But it makes you think a lot about bullying and about strong characters and people who take advantage. And can we let bygones be bygones, as they say in the film? Like, can we let go of stuff like that? I don't know if I could.
I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? I think the film doesn't have any answers to that particular question, but it does talk about it. And I think really what it's getting at is taking responsibility. It's one thing to do something and take responsibility for it and move forward and try and be better the next time. It's another thing to weasel your way around this sort of behavior and keep doing it into adulthood and always make excuses for it or try and explain away. And I think it's fascinating because it's not obvious bullying, this film. It's subtle bullying. It's subtle ways in which, even men can oppress women within a marriage. It's control and it's very subtle. It doesn't look necessarily like it's doing any harm. It looks like it's coming from care, and then slowly you realize that it's incredibly toxic.
Yeah, it really is. It's such a wonderful film. You did such a great job in it, and
thank you.
Congratulations. Always lovely to talk to you. Thank you, and
have
a great day.